Howdy, y'all. My name is Press. I'm coming at you with some more Her Story. So, quick apology, I guess. Last time when I recorded the episode with the face cam, I totally forgot something that I had to do for audio settings, so the audio was less than perfect. So my apologies for that. This time I am recording it the right way, so hopefully the audio should sound much better. But anyway, sorry for you guys having to put up with that for that episode, but I was like, there's no way I can like go back in time and not know the stuff that I know about the game now. So it's not like I could, re-record the episode or anything. But anyway, it is a different day. I know I said that I was going to sit down and record them all at once, but I then decided to go off and see Deadpool, which was awesome. You should go see it if you want to and if you're of age, because it is pretty violent and all that kind of stuff. But anyways, what are we talking about that for? Let's play some more Her Story. So when we left off, we found out that Hannah is Eve is Hannah's twin sister. They were separated, and then we got a couple more things that we could search around in order to like go further down that track. And I feel like we might as well round out that story thread and maybe see if that leads us elsewhere. And then we still have the whole Glasgow alibi thing to come back to. So yeah, let's go ahead, and I think we're going to look up now Florence, because Florence was the name that was given of, I think, the midwife, who it sounds like the midwife was the one who was in, who kind of started all this, is what it sounds like. Okay, Florence, what do we got? Okay, we got 4 videos we haven't seen yet. Oh, that's right, there's that Morse code one too. I'll have to remember that. Might have to... In between sessions, I might have to go and try and like find like a Morse code thing. Actually, I think I'm gonna write that down. I'll do that. I'll watch that clip over and over again. I'll figure out what it is in Morse, and then we'll talk about that one next episode. So we'll leave that for now. Let's go and down this Florence line. Okay.
Florence took me home with her. Mother hadn't been expecting twins and had a healthy baby. I guess she was just happy for Florence to clean up. Take away the evidence that this was anything but a happy occasion.
So Florence took the baby. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. I think we'd kind of figured that out from one of the earlier sayings. It's always interesting when that happens and the lights flicker and it shows the character that you're playing. Because I think, I don't know who we're supposed to be. That's interesting. And it seems like it's like whenever there's some kind of key moment in the story.
Florence raised me in her home. I never left it. She kept me out of sight. It wasn't odd for people to see a midwife with a baby, carrying in supplies, washing nappies, that sort of thing. I never knew any different. I grew up looking out of my window and seeing her across the road. I thought it was like a reflection in the mirror. She was me.
That's crazy. They like lived across the street from one another? How is that even like... Whoa. Music change. This one's a long one. Let's watch this one.
Florence was a warm, kind person. But she was broken, I guess. When I found her diary, I also found a biscuit tin with other stuff in it. Older papers, letters, that kind of thing. Her story wasn't there.
Her story.
I never really spoke to her about it. I was far too young to really understand, I guess. I just put it together later, once I was older. She had loved children, planned to have a large family, but her husband died in the war. And that was back when you married for life. She never felt like she could marry again. Isn't that strange? She was a widow from her 20s. But, I mean, I guess it was different then. You married for life and she felt she could never marry again. I guess it was harder, a war widow. One of the dead. I don't know, maybe there was more to it than that. I don't really know.
Okay. Well, I mean, we're learning a little bit more about Florence, but it's not really telling us much. I think that's irrelevant to the current thing that we're investigating.
No. It was just me and her. It was the name they were going to call their first child. They talked about it and were going to try when he came back. Florence's family had a history of firstborn girls, so they were convinced it was going to be a girl. It's hard to know if this is all true. These are stories I remember, that I read when I was a child. Maybe I misread, maybe I misunderstood. Sometimes it's hard to remember what happened last week.
Okay. Writing down memory. Because it's possible that maybe she's got some memory issues as well. Like they're alluding at it there. It might just be like a throwaway kind of line, but it's also like if you think about it with the whole multiple people kind of situation, it could still be the case that this is a dissociative identity thing, right? That it's not necessarily that it's twins, but you know, it could be the whole like there's it's like personalities. But I think it's twins. I'm pretty convinced that that's the case. They're running us long down this line. So, okay. So that one didn't really turn us up too much. Let's go ahead and let's go down the line of, let's search for Glasgow. Let's see what her Glasgow thing was. Because I think, it's tricky because there's so many lines that I want to go down. Like, there's more about like the pregnancy thing. Right? Because if there's two of them, and she talked about like, oh, I tried to get pregnant when she was pregnant, and then I couldn't get pregnant or whatever. Like, I think there's also going to be something there because, like, the whole whatever the murder is about, whatever the murder's in reference to, could be that. Okay, but let's go Glasgow. Okay. All right, we got a good couple of ones that we can do here.
So I got in the car and I drove. I just kept driving north, just kept going, just wanted to get as far away as I could. When I finally stopped, I was all the way up in Glasgow. I was so tired. I just had to sleep.
She made it up to Glasgow and took a nap at the side of the road or something like that?
Yes. I got to Glasgow, I was exhausted, so I pulled over and slept in the car. I woke up because a rubbish truck went past. I got some petrol, bought a coffee and a pastry, tried calling someone from the payphone, and then headed back.
Okay, she called Simon. I assume he didn't answer, right? Because he was dead. Okay. Let's see where we're at in the database checker. So that one was here. So that was quite... Wait a minute.
So I got in the car and I drove.
So this one's here. And that second one was all the way over here. So there's a ton of this interview that happens between those two. When she talks about the first time, when she mentions Glasgow for the first time, and then when she talks about it again. So they must have followed up on that question. But remember what I'd said earlier where I think it has something to do with the hair as like a soft cue that they're throwing at us? Are they switching like places on the same day? Because that's crazy. I thought it was like different days they were switching places, but here we have hair up. Before that we had hair down, and they seem to kind of speak differently, but maybe I'm reading too much into this. Let's go ahead and watch this one here.
No, I don't think so. Glasgow was deserted that early in the morning.
All right, so assume that was no one saw her, so she has no real alibi.
When I arrived in Glasgow, I was exhausted. The streets were empty. I was driving badly, and I hit a taxi. Not a big crash, just paintwork. The guy was so pissed off because I didn't have a driving license on me. But when I told him I was pregnant, he made sure I got to the hospital so they could check me out. It was fine. The hospital must have details when I was looked at. There's a scratch on the car.
All right. The hospital and the taxi. Let's follow up on those. I think that's potential. It's got some potential there. Let's search for the taxi first. Okay, nothing there. Okay, we got an earlier one and then a later one.
Ask the hospital.
That's the whole video clip?
Ask the hospital.
Interesting. Okay.
I don't see how it's hard. We've established I was in Glasgow when he was killed. You've spoken with the hospital.
Okay, so we've spoken to the hospital and that confirms it, I guess. Okay, so that didn't get us anywhere. Payphone. I doubt that's anything. Yeah. I know she said it once. Okay.
It's like I told you before. I drove. I took the car and drove.
This is Eve,
I
right?
don't have my own car, but I have a spare set of keys. I just drove north. I wanted to think for some space between me and them. Everything I told you before is true. I stopped at Glasgow. I was tired, exhausted. I pulled out and I hit a car. My car was okay, but I was worried about the baby, so I went to A&E to get the okay. Everything was fine. Slept in the car. When I woke, I tried to call Hannah from a payphone. She wasn't answering. And then I decided to drive back. I had decided that she was more important to me than Simon.
Okay. That's right, because they were both kind of with Simon, right? At the same time, switching back and forth. That's bonkers. Okay, so we've learned a little bit more. So Eve is the one who actually went to Glasgow, which means that Hannah was probably still in Portsmouth. Let us see if there's anything more about Portsmouth. No, okay. I know that's where they're from. Okay, what else do we have? So, let's follow up. I want to follow up on the baby. I want to search a little bit more for stuff having to do with the baby. She called it the baby at one point. So we got a couple more here about that.
We spent the wedding night in a hotel in Brighton.
Yeah, she's got a bruise.
It's
crazy.
We were saving for the baby. It was wonderful to be in a hotel, away from home, just alone together. Since then, we've always tried to get away for our holiday.
Okay.
We couldn't afford our own place. Simon dropped out of school, went full-time at the Glaziers. That was Eric's generosity. We moved in with his mum and dad. They had a spare room for us and the baby, if it came. It was a nice change, time to myself, living there for those months, full of hope.
Okay.
Yes. It was a shock to him. I mean, we never thought it was possible. I don't know what he... I mean, I hadn't decided whether to keep the baby. I wasn't really ready to talk to him about it.
Okay. That didn't help us too much. Pregnancy, that kind of stuff.
Yes, I'm fine. I won't be sick again. This happened some days. I'm pregnant. It's morning sickness.
She's pregnant right now. So this is after Simon has died or disappeared. So, I mean, she could still be pregnant, you know, with Simon's kid, right? Because they were trying for so long, we know that, but interesting. So we know she lost one baby, but then she's pregnant here?
No. Well, yes. You found out on my birthday. I told him I was pregnant.
Okay, she told him that she was pregnant. Birthday. We'll put that down. Tell us what happened on your birthday. That's what I'm curious about.
It's Rapunzel. The story starts when she's born. Mother Gothel, a witch, takes Rapunzel from her parents and keeps her locked up in this tower. Rapunzel gets pregnant by the prince, and Mother Gothel is furious, so she cuts off her hair and throws it. Actually, her hair's already short here, so that's already happened. So she throws her into the wilderness, and Rapunzel is reunited with the prince, who's blind, but she kills him with her tears, and so it's a happy ending. Is that too much?
It's a happy ending. That's the achievement that we just got. You guys can't see it because my face is covering it up, but it says it's a happy ending. I have a feeling this one's not such a happy ending. All right, let's check our database thing. Okay. All right, let's see if there's anything different if we just use the word like pregnancy. Pregnancy. Learn how to spell, buddy. Pregnancy. Here we go.
Hannah had a miscarriage. This was late in the pregnancy and it left her infertile. Felt like the universe had corrected its course. We were aligned again. But Hannah and Simon were still living with his parents. They were married. Simon had a job at the Glaziers now. Eric had given him a full-time position after he left school. And then...
Okay. Let's search for birthday. Okay. Let's find out what happened on her birthday. That might help us out a little bit. And then maybe we'll start looking into more stuff having to do with the house and the inheritance and living in the house and the attic and all that kind of stuff. I think there might be something there. Who knows?
Yes, that's my birthday. Not one of the big ones, but I guess you can see that. It was my birthday, like you said. We were going to have a meal at home. We had our meal. He gave me his present. I guess I didn't like the present.
Okay. She didn't like his present. I'm thinking that maybe... I'm jumping to some conclusions here, but I'm thinking that maybe she told him about the baby on her birthday, and Simon reacted really angrily about that, and maybe hit Hannah, and as a result, that's why she has the bruise, and that also might be why she killed him, if she killed him, which is something is an extreme possibility right now is what I'm thinking. That might be the case. That might be the case, I think. But let's keep moving forward. Let's watch the last couple of these clips.
From when I woke up. Okay. I woke up. Simon was already up and he made me birthday breakfast of eggs Benedict. We both had to go to work, so we saved presents till later. I got to work, had some birthday cake, children sang me happy birthday, then I came home. The birthday meal was a takeaway, and Simon gave me his present, which I didn't mind. And after that, we talked about the baby. It turned into a big argument. Simon left. I was furious. I wanted to get as far away as I could and get some space to think. So I left.
Okay.
A week or so ago. It would have been the Saturday before my birthday. You know, I get like that on the weekends, have a lie-in, then want to get up and blitz the house.
Watch that again.
A week or so ago. It would have been the Saturday before my birthday. You know, I get like that on the weekends, have a lie-in, then want to get up and blitz the house.
Okay. I think something happened on the birthday that was significant, right? That's kind of, I think that's when it happened. Search for Saturday. Just see if that comes up with anything else on what happened on that Saturday.
I left the next day, Saturday. I slept for a few hours in the car. When I woke up, I came straight back. Simon wasn't returning my calls and I wanted to try and make up. I got back to the house and Simon wasn't there. And excuse me. Is there a bin?
So that's her morning sickness right there. So let's find out, when does that happen? So that happens here. So we've seen the next video. We've seen the video that comes after that. Interesting.
It was late, early Saturday morning.
Okay, well, that didn't help us much. Okay, I'm looking at the time. Looks like I probably got to wrap this up here pretty quickly. Is there any last thing that I'd like to search for? Let's search for the dollhouse. She talked about the dollhouse in the attic. It's something that has made me very curious. So I want to check these last couple entries on this.
Yes, I read a lot as a child and watched lots of TV. Then the doll's house we still have in the attic. It's kind of a fairy castle. We used to play up there and make up our own stories.
Okay.
I'm not sure where the dollhouse came from. I don't know if it was given to them or they inherited it. I mean, they wouldn't have had the money to buy it. It was so huge. It must have been taken up to the attic in parts and then reassembled up there. It's a beautiful thing. Wallpaper to scale, little furniture, the lights work, mirrors, beds, big duvets and pillows. We spent hours and hours playing in it, invented all these characters and families who lived there. We wrote paperwork for them all, passports, diaries, gave them all really elaborate stories. Once, a moth got trapped in there. We'd left a light on. It was making the most horrendous noise. We tried to kill it, but it was tough. We ended up crushing it under a copy of the Arabian Nights.
Seems too satisfied about that.
The legal stuff was completed very quickly. Hannah moved back in with Simon. Eric gave Simon the week off to help with the move. He decorated, modernised wallpaper curtains. Hannah insists the attic be left as it was, dollhouse and all. Simon never went up there.
Okay, so we are going to leave that for this episode. We're going to come back and we're going to go down that line of reasoning a little bit further about the house and the move and what went on there. I think that's going to help us get a little bit more of an understanding. I think once we clarify, what happened after they moved in together, and then kind of when Hannah and Eve, I don't know, it seems like after the miscarriage, and then then there was the next pregnancy. But if she was infertile, then maybe Eve was pregnant, but not Hannah, maybe, or something. I don't know. This is really confusing, y'all. I'm excited about this, though. This game is fun. Okay, so last thing we're going to do, we're going to watch the Morse code thing again because I want y'all to see it, and then I am in between here. I'm going to go, and I'm going to ... dash this sucker and see if I can figure out what it stands for. So let's do this.
I'm talking about Eve.
All right, I'm gonna have to watch that a couple times to be able to actually like get down what it is. But anyways, with that, thank you all for watching. If you liked what you saw, please be sure to give this video a like, a favorite, and subscribe to the channel. My name has been Price, and be sure to tune back in next time for more Her Story.